let's take a look at a couple of specific reform movements, which we label here simply reform movement number 1, because it comes first, and reform movement number 2. I have titled reform movement number 1 as the problem is numbers. We focus here on numbers. I need to take you back to the American experience of competitiveness. During the 1980s, the image of this Cold War as organizing the world was replaced by the image of competitiveness, which we discussed at some length. National worries about American competitiveness led to concerns about whether or not the country would produce sufficient technical workers in the future. Demographic profiles suggested that the number of white males going to college, and thus presumably into engineering, was declining in relationship to other groups. Since engineering has drawn primarily from this demographic group, many engineering groups express concerns that the future supply of engineers might be inadequate to meet the demand. So our reading describes one prominent example of an engineering group advocating change. This group is the Dean's Council, the Council of Deans of Colleges of Engineering, that serves as part of the American Society for Engineering Education. The Dean's Council established a task force in the 1980s, a task force that became known as the Task Force on the Engineering Student Pipeline. When we're talking about the problem as numbers, we refer to the dominant image that emerged, the image of the pipeline. And in our reading, we're putting you into contact with the major publications that emerged and served as founding original documents for this movement. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of documents by this time that relate to and elaborate this movement. We're just giving you a very brief introduction by taking a look at the founding documents, some of which may feel a bit out of date. You've got to understand them in their context of the late 1980s.